Alright guys, so I want to do a Twab breakdown, breaking down the new upcoming changes that they're doing for Ashen Iron. I'm only going to be breaking down really like the stuff that I should be breaking down. I'm not going to break down any of the portal changes. Those are all very good. The portal changes are good, the power leveling grind is good. I'm not going to break down any of the new weapons. I will break down this though, the new step bonus. So they are adding a new step bonus to solo ops, fire team ops. This is going to be very good. Okay, you guys have no idea how good this is going to be. Okay, free damage reduction from an orb. Do you guys have any idea how easy it is to get an orb of power in this game now? Even in this era where we're running fonts and we're not really running like triple heavy-handed anymore, it's still crazy good. Like crazy good. Free damage reduction from picking up an orb. You run this in a damage phase, you're basically always going to have that damage reduction. It's not even a question if you'll have the damage reduction. The 4-piece, not so great. This is kind of ass. Depending on how much special ammo progression it is, if it's anything like, if it's like 20%, that's pretty good. Because you can pair that with special ammo finisher, and then basically you'll get another, you'll get like 20% after you've done a finisher. I hope that's how it would work. Actually no, because special ammo finisher is not tied to the meter. So yeah, this will work. Okay. They're adding in dungeons to the pinnacle ops. If these are anything, if they are 1 reward or 2 rewards, these 2 encounters are the best farm in the game for power. It won't even be close. If they're 2, it's not close. Both of these bosses are 1 phaseable, and by 1 phaseable I mean 1 phase, not like Heavened. Most people consider a 1 phase to be killing her before you reset down to the bottom. I mean 1 floor. Like Heavened is 1 floorable, Gaul is a super easy 1 phase as well. If they're 2 rewards or even 1, it's still decent. It's still a decent farm because you're farming pinnacle gear from the pinnacle ops sector of the portal, and the gear in there is far better than the solo ops stuff, except for the new armor set. Like this is obviously very good. The stream requirements, they've already been covered by like multiple other creators. I'm not going to cover them again. They're very good. A very good change. And let's see, do they cover temporal blast in here? Okay, I don't think they cover temporal blast. I'm gonna go over to the sandbox preview for Ashen Iron. Hipfire reticles, we don't care about that. I don't care about any PvP changes. This is good. So spread angle, so you're less likely to miss 1-2 punch on a boss. It's more forgiving. I mean, not like it already wasn't, but yeah, you're more likely to like not blank your 1-2 punch shot. Crossbow heavy bolt radar, that's good. Before it was kind of like iffy. I think they should remove featured weapons. It's very annoying, the avant-garde stuff. Storm rework, this is like not going to be relevant for any sort of damage. Graviton spike rework, Lord of Wolves. So here we go, jumping into like the actual stuff that matters here. So Lord of Wolves nerf. Okay, so they're nerfing Lord of Wolves by 20%. It is a fair nerf, I would say, because Lord of Wolves was always sort of very good. Even after they nerfed it the first time, they didn't actually nerf it right. It was tested that when you were hitting precision shots, instead of a 30% nerf, it was only 15. So if they do the same thing here, where instead of being a 20%, it's going to be 10%, Lord will still be good. Okay, nobody is using Lord of Wolves for actual damage though. Most people are using it for backup damage. So you run out of heavy ammo, you start using Lord. Or in my other video, my speed loader slack rotation, I use it to get my dodge back, because it's good burst damage on the side to get my dodge back. But yeah, Lord's still going to be good for what it's already been used for. It's still going to be like the best like DPS special to swap to. Grand Overture, I get it, they're trying to make it like a burst weapon, but like really, honestly, the gun feels terrible anyway because the manual reload is so goddamn slow. Reducing its reserves is fair because the total damage is like pretty insane on Grand Overture overall. Queenbreaker, it's a fair nerf, I would say. A little bit questionable though, because I would feel they should look into other weapons other than Queenbreaker, because Queenbreaker this season is not really in the meta. I get it because it power creeps every other legendary linear. Well, it's an exotic itself, but I mean it power creeps legendaries. Nobody's going to use a legendary if they can just use Queenbreaker, unless you're in like highly specific scenarios. This like really doesn't make a difference in today's meta, at least this season. If linears come back in meta, this will make a difference. By how much, I'm not sure. I'll have to wait for testing to come out on that. Outbreak Perfected, Barrow Diet, Hierarchy and Needs. These are very good and very needed changes. We should not have a meta where people walk into the raid and hold left click with a primary weapon that has infinite ammo. That just should not be a thing. So, reduce super contribution on the recharge, and then reduce the nanite recharge. Both of those are good changes, because Outbreak has been dominating the meta. Okay, there should be a gap between players and skill. It should not be a scenario where no matter what you do, you're not going to be better than someone, even if you're better than them. It shouldn't be like, oh, I'm holding left click, I can get the same damage as somebody who's like done the freaking contest raid and has like 5 different contest belts. It should not be like, oh, this guy who just started the game is as good as Salted Grappo. He's doing as much damage as Salted Grappo. It shouldn't be like that. You know, people who are good at rotations should be rewarded because they're good at a rotation. Barrow Diet, nerfing the recharge, same thing, but really this is kind of out of touch as well. Like Outbreak is very much in touch, but this is out of touch with like the Titan meta. The Titan meta right now does use Barrow Diet, but there are better options of Barrow Diet. The rotation that's better than Barrow Diet is just using the I can actually pull it up in game real quick. I have it in my vault. Where is it? This. So you use the Antidote with Temporal Blast and you use Target Lock Rewind. This is the best super genner right now and like Peacekeeper DPS on Titan. Period. There's nothing that even gets close. Not even close. And that's in an Aegis video. He covered this. But yeah. Like, so Barrow Diet nerf, it's another like one of those things where they're like they're nerfing down like exotic primaries, which is good. Hierarchy and Needs, like damage based recharge, I guess. I mean, people were just mainly using the crossbow and not using, like, if you were optimizing, you're using hierarchy, but otherwise you're really just doing crossbow damage. Thunderlord, so they're bringing the catalyst down. It will no longer like keep refilling the mag like it was. So basically it was just like continuously refilling and you never had to reload. Whirling Ovation, this will not matter. It's still going to be bad because really this would need to be halved. Going from 10 seconds to build anticipation to 8 seconds is nothing. It's still going to be worse swap DPS than Parasite. And this doesn't matter. Because if you're running any sort of rotation like this, it's going to be optimized. You're not going to run like a less optimized damage rotation when you're running this. You're just not going to do that. It's just going to be worse. You just run Parasite at that point. Burning Ambition. This perk is kind of just bad in general. It's not very good. This is like a clown perk if you're going to use this. All these changes to like normal splash perks are very good. So Dragonfly getting a damage boost is good. Cluster Bomb getting a damage boost is good. I don't know where that matter. The real good one though is Reservoir Burst. So Reservoir Burst, there are certain rotations like Speed Loader Slacks. You can technically do this rotation where you go and use a fusion to get your dodge back instead of Lord of the Wolves. You would use like a Reservoir Burst fusion rifle, ideally rapid fire, and this would benefit it. Magnificent Howl, none of these really matter. Flash counter doesn't matter because they just nerf Stronghold. This is sadly unfortunate. So any mint retrograde that had chain reaction, you're no longer gonna get that new ammo gen from chain reaction. You're instead gonna get the damage increase, which is fine, but you didn't really need chain reaction in general. Headstone generates a larger stasis crystal. I'd have to see how much bigger the stasis crystal is. So Headstone's still kind of niche, very niche pick among like people who are like non-meta build crafters. Chill Clip, players can activate slowing detonations from lower percentages of the mag. This is good. So this is like sort of a buff just to damage of Chill Clip in a sense. If you can still get like Chill Clip shots at a lower percentage of the mag, this is the buff, because you're gonna get a whole nother shatter. And then also if you're using it with anything like backers, so an example of a gun that would benefit from this would be the new stasis shotgun, the slug one, which is the Tracanus. Let's say Tracanus, there we go. Not this one, this one. But here's the assault mag one that has the 140 RPM. So Tracanus would benefit from this, right? And if you wanted to do max DPS with this, you go Tracanus, Chill Clip, and then you'd go and pair it with like Baccarus. So you go with Baccarus, and you put your Tracanus on with Baccarus. So yeah, basically that Chill Clip buff directly buffs Tracanus now, because the whole reason you'd want to have your Chill Clip around longer for Tracanus specifically is because Baccarus, most people don't know, it doesn't say, it'll give you an extra 10% damage against stasis debuff targets on top of like the 30% that you can stack. Yeah, this is a direct buff. Now we get into the juicy stuff. Temporal Blast nerf. So Temporal Blast obviously wreaking havoc on the crossbow. That's due to boss scaling. So guns with higher boss scalers are generally going to be better with Temporal Blast. Crossbow being one of them. The crossbow had like a 5 times boss scaler, the highest in the game, or the highest in the game at least, that has Temporal Blast. So they're getting rid of the ability to proc you with splash damage, so explosive bullets is out, and then they're also just reducing the damage by 66%. So with these changes, it's going to be, on the crossbow specifically, it's going to be every other shot will proc Temporal Blast. So every other shot you're gonna have Temporal Blast. This is a pretty hefty nerf. It's not really going to change it at the top end, I would say, for the crossbow. So the top end of crossbow damage, right, is going to be speed loader slack build. This is the top end of crossbow damage. I've calculated that this build with all stack buffs does currently right now, before the Temporal Blast nerf, does around 8 to 9k DPS, and after nerf it's going to do about 5. If we pull up the Aegis spreadsheet real quick, I can show you, sorry for the flashbang guys, I can show you guys all the other DPS. So this is a temporal blast gun. Ignore all the ones in blue columns. Aegis says these are all temporal blasts. So any of these are all going to change. Okay. So the speed loader is, like I said, like 5k DPS. So it's going to be doing the same DPS as Death Throws, Touch of Flame, Ember of Ashes, grenades. And it's infinite. And then it's basically going to be doing the same as the Unvoiced, which is significantly harder to set up and also has super duper low total. Basically, the crossbow is still going to be good, contrary to what everybody else says. Because 5k DPS, that is nothing to scoff at for it being an infinite total weapon. That is nothing to scoff at. Because obviously you have grapple melees, which are your outliers, but if you don't want to have like raid scaling issues where like you're fighting over ads with your teammates, there you go. You can use the crossbow on the speed loader slacks. You can get significantly more people on this rotation than you can on grapple. Like maximum you can get like maybe 3 people, maybe 4 people on grapple in a raid team. This you could get all 6. Because there's no prep, there's no pre-prep. Featured armor again. Here's the stronghold nerf. Not great. This doesn't matter. Surturacne facade. This is just base Surturacne. So this is not the exotic class item one. I'm gonna be honest. Strand Hunter sucks. Don't use it. This is good. They're reverting a patch to Surturacne. Not like I use it. I don't use Surturacne anymore because I'm never under light enough to where this would matter. Contest raid, this will matter. Okay. Because it was 6 seconds and it's going back to 10. Chromatic fire, this does not matter. It's like this exotic is just dog shit on Warlock, honestly. Controversial hold, void is shit on Warlock. And then here we go. Here we get into the juicy stuff. Okay. Gambler's Dodge. They're reworking it to where when you're at 70 stat points, you're no longer going to get 100% of your melee back when you dodge. But you will get 100% back if you dodge near an enemy. If you're at 100 stat points, it's 100%. This is fine, honestly. They did change this for PvP, but I don't really care about PvP. I don't play PvP mainly. This is good for PvP, getting rid of throwing knife meta. Also PvP. And this is not so great. So I primarily do speedrunning, and them nuking the weapon stat to have it not do extra damage towards you is not great. Because I don't know if it actually made a difference in like the amount of shots to kill you, but with the resilience changes that they made going into Edge of Fate, where they set everybody to 100, you could no longer lower your resilience to die faster, making some like skips harder. So not great. This is a direct patch to Song of Flame and Silk Strike. So for any of you who might not have known, the Silk Strike super actually benefits from the melee set and the super stat both. So you'd be getting hits for like 4,000 damage per hit because both the melee stat and the super stat both stack. Now mine are only at 150 because I'm fonting them. I use fonts to get them up. So yeah, they fixed that. That's no longer gonna work come Ash and Iron. They're also fixing an issue where the class stat is only really working good in multiples of 10. So the whole thing with like Hunter Dodge, like you can probably run it at like 65 stat points now, 66, and it'll be even better. So yeah, you have potential to run just one font now. Say you're at like 46 class stat, and then when you add a font you're at 66, you have potential to do that. Okay. They're fixing the issues with the athletic mods. not granting the right amount of mobility when you're at the upper end, meaning when you're at over 1 stat mod, when you're at over 1 athletic mod, wasn't granting the right amount of mobility. This is very good. And that's basically the entirety of the patch wrapped up. So this is going to leave a lot of players kind of angry at Bungie because they're nerfing fun. Yes, I do feel like they should have nerfed all these primaries. It's gonna be a bad take maybe, but among most endgame players, this is not a good meta. Having just primary spam and like holding left click is not a good meta. There should be some skill involved in doing one phases. You should not just be able to hold left click and do that. Yeah, Lord of Wolves, nerf that, okay. But yeah, overall, it's a decent tuning. It's a decent tuning patch. They're bringing down stuff that was too good for the current meta. Yes, they're nerfing fawn, but some stuff is too good. I'm not too happy about temporal blast. They should have just let this ride out. Maybe slight nerfs, but let it ride out, I would say. Because really, this is only going to be around for the entirety of the next season until Renegades. So I would have really just let this ride out. It only would have been another like 2-3 months till Renegades. So I would have just let this happen. I would have just kept this in the game. But I mean, Bungie, man, they like to nerf fun, I guess, you know. They don't like people using new weapons, I guess, because this is definitely going to drive people away from crossbow who are not using a rotation to buff its damage. I mean, if you run Mask of Bacchus with it, it's still going to be good, because Mask of Bacchus is a 30% buff. And a lot of people don't know this either. So with Song of Flame, you actually will get back your dodge in time. You can stack it 3 times, and then basically your dodge on Bacchus should come back in time. Like you'll have like 3 seconds before your buff goes out with a Song of Flame user, because of the base class ability scalar that it has and buff for teammates. So you'll have a 30% buff that you can keep up for at least probably 20 seconds. And then at bare minimum, you're going to have 10% at least, because of the stasis debuff thing. Because you can stasis debuff the boss and you're going to get at least another 10%. So in total, it's 40% that you're adding onto the crossbow damage, and this will also affect temporal blast. If they do, however, get rid of that behavior where damage buffs are buffing temporal blast, then you know it'll be back to the speed loader slacks rotation. That'll be the only rotation that's good. But other than that, if they don't get rid of that, then you know backwards is still very good. So that's the entire tuning patch. If you like this format of video, be sure to tell me in the comments or how I can improve my formats or the formatting of this video. Drop a like, then please comment. It helps my algorithm. I'm a starting out YouTuber, so I need the algorithm. Yeah, see you guys.